here. James Etheridge is going to help us with our national anthem today.
Please join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Daryl Roberts has our invocation today.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you again for another day's journey. God, thank you for your protection through this weather. Protect our loved ones, God, while we are away from them. Give us, God, grace as we carry out the business at hand. Thank you for the food that you prepared for the nourishment of our souls and bodies. And God bless what you're doing right now in our midst. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Chris King, introduction of guests visiting Rotary.
We are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized? John Miller, guest of Michael Maddox. Tony Bird, guest of Robert Bird. Are there any other visitors we may have missed? Thank you for visiting with the Dothan Rotary Club today.
And with Rotary, Terry Dutton. The new and improved Terry Dutton.
There needed to be an improved version, no doubt. Thank you, President Greg. Before we get to celebrations of birthdays and anniversaries, let me ask y'all to do something when you get a few moments to yourself. Many of y'all know Fred Bacher, Sun Country. I got to know Fred many, many years ago when he worked for me during the 6 years or so that I was in charge of and I was part of WTVY. And delightful Christian individual. Some of y'all probably know, James and I was talking about it earlier, but he was on the way to church yesterday morning to preach, and he was riding his motorcycle as he normally does if the weather's halfway decent, and got involved in a very, very serious wreck and was airlifted to Birmingham and was in such bad shape last night that he did not do surgery. He is in surgery now. So when you get a moment, please extend a prayer for him. On a happier note, let's celebrate some birthdays. Stephanie Walker on April the 6th and Mark Kristen on April the 7th. Anniversaries, Abby and Jed Downs, April the 5th. Maggie and Dean Mitchell on April the 6th. And we got a pair on April the 9th. Jennifer and James Matheny and Hannah and Josh Chapman. So celebrate those. Y'all have a great week. Thank you.
several hemp basketball. $590 points. Last four digits, 5159. 5159.
Some odds are better today.
5159. Maybe we need to draw again.
Somebody got it.
Somebody's got it.
I bought one.
Tickets might be wet.
Ah! More parts. There you go. I want to update this club on the upcoming first annual 21st century Dothan Rotary balls. As of Wednesday of last week, of the 300 tickets that were available, 250 have been purchased, and I think we'll have a sold-out crowd on that. This will all enable us to take care of the obligation that we have to the Rotary River Field, plus some. So hope you'll make it. For the people who purchase table sponsors, Chris Dixon is going to do a special slide presentation, kind of like we do here. During the ball, they have a screen down there that's 9 54-inch TVs that are all grouped together into one big screen. So, and we're hoping next year this will be an opportunity for additional fundraising. So Mary Beth Maddox has worked tirelessly on that as her committee, and they're just doing a great job. We're looking for a good time. All right, we have some Paul Harris presentation. Paul Harris recognition has been decorating Rotary Foundation's passionate supporters for many years. It's a proud tradition that honors the memory of our founder, past Rotary International President Paul Harris. I believe he'd be moved to see all the Rotarians and the friends of our foundation and what they've done to continue to do in the name of his beloved organization. In order to be honored as a Paul Harris Fellow, someone must contribute sums of at least $1,000 to our Rotary's Foundation's annual drive, Polio Plus, or approved foundation grant. These funds can be used to honor others while being applied to the amazing work that has distinguished our Rotary Foundation as an organization that provides help, home, and peace around the world. Becoming a Paul Harris Fellow is a tremendous accomplishment. Honoring and multiplying that generosity multiplies the community impact made with these contributions. So much good begins with these gifts. Wells are constructed, children are vaccinated against illnesses, senior citizens are afforded meals and services, children and adults are educated and given professional opportunities. This work is vital to the children, families, and communities to benefit. Only when people's basic needs are met can they pursue the larger elements of human life, including conflict resolution, community building, and peace. Paul Harris Fellows, in a very tangible way, provide stepping stones to a more harmonious world. We have several Rotarians that are Paul Harris Plus. We're pleased to honor them, and they inspire us to push forward in the Rotary Foundation's work. Paul Harris Fellow recognition has decorated presidents, philanthropists, entrepreneurs, industrialists, teachers, students, business professionals, and fellow Rotarians. A group of community-minded individuals has been honored with recognition that we bestow today on these individuals. Thank you for your stellar example. And I'd ask you to come receive your multiple Paul Harris Fellows. They are John Watson +6. If you would, John. Stay up here just a minute. Robert Bird +1. And Archie Solomon +5.
And Greg Hendricks +1.
Whoa. Oh, sneaky.
I'll come forward. We do two on one side, two on, how about?
I'll send some of this. Yes.
Thank you.
I propose to stand in ovation.
Michael Maddox will introduce our speaker for the day.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see everybody here on this rainy day. Before I introduce our speaker, I do want to give, and I'm sorry to see that he's not here today. Hopefully he's listening on Zoom. I did want to express a heartfelt and extremely sarcastic thank you to Rick Reichert for pulling my name on April 3rd, right at the end of tax season. But hey, it was no problem, because as soon as he called my name, I knew exactly who I wanted to get to speak to us today. I had just a few days prior to that, had a conversation with Lorie here about their organization and starting to get into doing their tax work this year and what they're all about. And if you know me, you know that anybody that is voice for our children in our community is near and dear to my heart. And so the more I learned about them, the more I knew I wanted her to get up here and tell you kind of what they're about. She is with CASA of the Wiregrass, and we've got some information there on your tables. I'll let her tell you more about the organization, but Lorie Killingsworth is a daughter of a minister. So they traveled around a good bit in her younger years and ended up in the early 80s settling in Ashford. And since then, she's become a married mother of 3 boys, a proud grandmother of 2 wonderful grandchildren. She has served in the school system for 18 years, and 9 of that in the special education department. She's also an EMT with 3 of our local squads here in Houston County. And she is about 9 months ago took over as the executive director of CASA of the Wiregrass. And so without further ado, I would ask that you welcome Ms. Lorie Killingsworth.
Being the daughter of a minister, I'm not going to be up there. My dad walked the pew, and I just feel I could give you more of a personal feel. I am Lorie Killingsworth. I know Sean. I work with Sean on numerous occasions. We all do rescue, and let me tell you, Sean is an asset. Let me just go ahead and say that for all of us younger ones. So, CASA of the Wiregrass, court-appointed special advocates. We were envisioned by Judge Sokup in 1976 when he was deciding the life of a 3-year-old child who had been abused. He listened to that case, and when he went into chambers, he looked at his judicial assistant and said, I am terrified to make a life-changing decision on a 3-year-old child, and I don't have all the information. I don't have someone on the inside. I don't have someone on the inside that can tell me what this child has gone through, what this child has seen, what this child feels. So at that point, he decided, I need someone in a layperson's position to go into that child's home or in that child's foster placement and become friends with that child, so they will open up and tell me what they need, what they want. 1977, Judge Mendoza gives us the name Court-Appointed Special Advocates. What we are a child's voice. We go anywhere that child is. It doesn't matter, anywhere in the state of Alabama, I have I have 3 children in Flat Rock, Alabama. That is 35 miles shy of Chattanooga, my favorite state, Tennessee. That's where I spent most of my childhood. And I'd go home in a heartbeat, but I will travel anywhere one of our children is in desperate need. We not only listen to that child, we evaluate their parents. We visit with their parents. We go to their home. We go to the foster's home. We go to the schools, daycare, anywhere that child is. We have a court order that we can visit with that child. We listen. When a child can look at you and know that you are there to listen to them, it changes a child's demeanor. When a child feels like they don't have a voice, it takes away their self-worth. They feel like I don't matter. I've already been abused. I've already been neglected. They have taken me and put me in a home. I don't know anybody. Their self-worth is 0. When that child comes to, their case comes before the judge. Most of the time, here in Henry and Houston County, I'm sitting in that courtroom. The judge reads over that file, looks at me and says, will you take this case? Yes, flat out, yes, I will ride the roads any day for a child. We not only give that child their self-worth back, their voice, we give that child a friend, a confidant, someone who is constant from the time their first appearance till the time their permanency is achieved, whether that be adoption or back with their parents. Let me give you a little story. I just started this in June, will be a year. The job come hunting me. I didn't go looking for it, but I made a career change, 18 years. Said, you know what? Let me do something different. Let me do something different. My children in Flat Rock, Alabama, bad situation. I travel to see them. When I get there, this child, not mine, she's sitting in the corner. She's a foster child in the same foster home. She's 5 years old. And let me tell you, if you don't think a 5-year-old child is not paying attention to everything you say and everything you do, you're sadly mistaken. Because she watched me from the time I walked in that door. I walked in, spoke to everyone in the room, my 3 kids that are assigned to me. I got right up next to them, side hugged, asked them what they wanted to do. They said, can we sit in the floor and talk? Sure. I'm sitting in the floor. This little 5-year-old child sitting over here in the corner. She's watching. She's not mine. She's watching. We talk, cut up, you know, and I'd look over there and I'd smile. I wouldn't push her, just smile. Every time I look over, she's got a little closer, a little closer. Next thing I know, I feel something up against my back around. She's right here. I just take my arm. I don't look at her, just bring her around, bring her into our little circle. The child's face changed in that moment. You know why? Because I made her feel like she was part of something. She's been displaced. She's been abused. She's been neglected. And she's terrified of everybody. But in that moment, listening to what I'm telling my 3, I am here for you. Not your parents, no one else, not your foster. I'm here to listen to you. I'm your voice. You tell me what you want. You tell me what you need.
I'll put it in my report, and it doesn't just go to the judge. It goes to DHR. It goes to every person involved in that case. Those children were so relieved to have someone for them. Someone just listen to them. Houston and Henry County are the two counties I serve. I would love to expand, but I can't without volunteers. Each volunteer goes through 30 hours. I don't send volunteers on long distance. I take those because they're long distance. That's why I was in Flat Rock. But anyway, getting back to my little girl, she spent all day right next to me. Every word, everything we did, I included her. She's not mine, she's not my case, but she's a child who's in an unfortunate place. She's in a good foster home, but it's not her home. Every child deserves that. So by the end of the day, when I told my children goodbye, I would see them again in just a few weeks. This one right here, so like this. I couldn't walk. She's right here. She's got little curly hair. She looks up with those big eyes, and she says, "Can you be my one? Can you be my person? I don't have somebody like you." And I tear up every time I tell her this story. And I hugged her neck and I said, "I'll tell you one thing, I can't be yours, but I'll pick up that phone because I have an office here in this county." A smile come on her face, and she said, "When you come back, can I join in again?" I said, "Darling, as long as you're in this house, if you're a CASA, I can't find you a CASA worker, I'll be your CASA worker." Children who are abused and neglected, let me tell you what they go through. If you didn't know what they go through when they're initially taken from their home, everything they own is put in a garbage bag or a Walmart bag. Everything that they can put in that bag is gathered up. They're led out or they're carried out and put in the back of a car for someone they don't know. They don't know where they're going. They just know something's happened. Sometimes it's in the back of a patrol car. My husband's a deputy. Sometimes it's in the back of a patrol car. Sometimes it's in the back of a DHR worker. They're gathered up, they're put in that car, and they're driven off, and all they do is turn around and look in that back glass and watch everything they know get smaller and smaller the further that car drives away. They don't understand. They have no clue what just happened. Some of these children are so used to the abuse and neglect, it's just another day. Just another day. But now somebody's come in and taken them out. They're put in a home with someone they don't know. Sometimes it's close by, sometimes it's far off. That is very traumatic. Not only have they endured the abuse and the neglect, but now they have the trauma of being snatched from home. That affects a child. Our children are our future. If you don't have children, just look at a child and you can see it on their face, what they feel. They don't always have to say that. Most children lash out, some children revert inside. My little curly headed little lady, she reverted inside, scared of every adult that come by. Every adult, she stayed in the corner. When I started to leave that day, they had to just get her to go in the house to let me get to my car. And this foster mother come out to me and she said, "What did you say to her?" "I want to know. She's been in this house 9 months and there's an adult in this house she has spoken to besides me." She said, "What did you say? What did you do to get her to come up to you?" I said, "I didn't do a thing. I didn't look at her and smile and let her know it was okay." Sometimes all a child needs is a soft voice and a smile, because a lot of them haven't had it. A lot of them haven't had it because parents make bad choices or relatives make bad choices. It's just a child. They didn't ask for it. All they want is someone to listen, just my little 5-year-old, and I want to say her name to the back, but I'm not allowed. This is somebody we want. I am very short-handed. I run my office now, just me and a part-timer. My assistant director, she transferred to CASA in Nashville. She's got the 0 to 3 program. She deals only with children from 0 to 3 years old. Wonderful opportunity for her. I'm in desperate need of volunteers. My brochure there on the thing, if you go to Wiregrass CASA, you can see everything we do. This program was started in December of 2017, and from 2017 to now, we have helped over 400 children, but I have to turn away cases sometimes because I don't have enough. I don't have enough hands. My poor husband, he just says, "Where are we going this weekend?" I run the office during the week. I run the roads on the weekend. If not, I'm on the ambulance. I'm never still, because a child needs me or somebody might need something. 30 hours training. We tell you from start to finish, tell you how to do things, but the main thing we stress is ears and hearts open, because they're lacking. And the children we help, most of them go on and finish school. Some of them go to college. We have several cases that, and there's one here in Dothan. I was working in an event at Wallace College and had a student come up to me and she said, "I want to tell you something." She said, "If I hadn't been for my," I said, "I tell you right now, with me." She said, "I took my life because I didn't matter to nobody, and I felt like nobody cared if I was here or not. But my CASA worker stayed with me from the start to the end, and I got adopted. And my adopted parents are putting me through college. But if it hadn't been for my CASA worker stepping in, I wouldn't be here." And she said, "I just want to say thank you." That makes every mile I put on my golf worth it. Every mile. Because they deserve it. No child needs to be afraid of where they're going to be. No child needs to be afraid that I'm here today, but I'll be in a different foster home next week. Or I'll be in a different foster home next month. And everybody's faces change. But CASA, we're the same. When I assign a volunteer to a case, volunteer stays with that child until they're done. Till they have reached permanency, either adoption or back with their parents, because stability is a cornerstone for a child's development. Stability, love, just care and concern. We have so many in Houston and Henry County. You would not believe how many children we have that are in DHR care. You would not believe. And a lot of days, we have a court docket full. When I'm assigned, I'm working on. And there's some days I come out of there with 6, 7 cases. And I don't have volunteers to cover that because I can't turn a child away. If I, is it any way possible, I'm gonna take that case because that child deserves it. Somebody's gotta be a voice because they don't have money for a judge to look at a 3-year-old child and then be terrified him on the inside that I'm fixing to make that decision that's gonna affect that child for the rest of their life. And I don't know what's going on. Nobody's sat down and asked that child. Nobody's given them the opportunity to express and say, "This is what I need." Sometimes a couple up and just sits and listens. Child will tell them exactly what happened to them. You don't have to ask. They just need to get it out. Sometimes they want to be about things that goes on at school. For a child who was moved from place to place, it's traumatic to go from school to school to school and start all over. Some children, they're okay with it. They have an outgoing personality, they're okay with it. Some children don't. Some children just need some kind of disability. I never meet a stranger. Anywhere I go, I'm either smiling or I'm talking to someone. But I was fortunate to have a stable home. Even though we moved, I was fortunate. These children don't. We have a case of a 3-year-old child that is so food anxious. He hides food. When he eats dinner, his foster mother watches. She don't stop him because he has to work through that. He only eats just a little bit. He keeps his plate up and he hides it. So he'll be sure when he gets up in the morning, he has food. She gets that plate, she snubbs that whole house till she finds it. When she takes it, she puts it in the refrigerator. And she gets up an hour early before that child and takes it, puts it back where he put it, so he can find it the next morning. After 6 months, he slowly got where he started doing that best. One, he had a foster mother that cared. The two, he had a CASA worker that came. It's 10 to 20 hours, it depends on how much time you want to spend with a child. If you're like me, you can never get enough. I hate to leave them. You know, I have to limit myself, but I don't want to, but I have to. Just to look on a child when they feel like, hey, I'm there. So on this brochure, there's no place like hope. In the state of Alabama, we have 15 programs. That's nowhere near enough. Nowhere near. I would love to expand. I have a call from Geneva County at least twice a month. Can you expand into Geneva yet? No, ma'am, I can't. I don't have the manpower or the financial power right now to do that. At least twice a month, I get that call. They send me pictures. Here's a building. We'll work, see if we can't get this building for you to move here. I have to turn them down. Coffeedale, Geneva. I have Houston and Henry. I have them in court 3 out of 5 days a week in one of these 2 counties, taking care of children. Just want to be heard. Just want to be heard. And sometimes, you know, we make a difference. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. But the fact that you tried, to try and fail is one thing, to never try is another. I'll fall down 100 times and get back up, or before I'll fall and stay. I just won't do that. I won't do that to a child. I raised twin boys and then another one later on. And I wouldn't trade my time with them at all. And I just wish that every child had the stability of a good home. But we can't promise that. People make mistakes. Sometimes parents learn from those mistakes and they do better and they get their children back. Sometimes they just can't break their chain. They just can't. No matter how hard they try. I see it when I visit homes. I see it when we make runs. They just can't make it. They just can't. But it doesn't change the fact that that child's still a child. A child doesn't understand. So if you can find it in your heart to volunteer, or you know somebody, send them to my office. 545 West Main. Go out application. I got a big red rocking chair in my office. Most everybody comes in, they sit in that big rocking chair. And they talk. When I have children come in, they sit in that chair and they rock. Come on, visit with me. Let me show you some more information. Because as Michael said, we don't have enough. Every child you see, I want you to think about it. Every child you see when you go to Walmart, or you go to Publix, you go to Target, that child has a story to tell. If you'll read their face, they have a story. And you don't know if that's their parents or if that's their foster parents. Or sometimes it's relatives that take them in. Every child has a story. Somebody just needs to listen. And that's what we do. We listen. And I appreciate the opportunity and your graciousness to allow me to come speak and tell you about what we do. We would love to have volunteers. We would love to have you be a voice for a child. Because that's a lot. There's a lot of love and gratification in just seeing that child change from wilted to blooming. Just because you have 7 years and you're willing to listen. You're willing to go into that courtroom and say, look, judge, this is what's going on. This is what the child feels. This is what the child wants. That's all it takes. It's just those few minutes. And you just pass that report off to the judge, talk to him for just a moment. And it makes a difference. that child is forever changed, just because you had a smile and a set of ears for them to listen. And you can do what they couldn't. So I appreciate again the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Michael, thank you for being involved in the work, thank you for making a difference in children's lives. Let's stand and recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do. Is it true?
All concerned with goodwill, better friendships.